Hello and welcome to the Technical Debrief by the 1895 podcast. I'm Tom.
And I'm Rob.
And Rob, we've covered CO2 quite extensively in the last week or so, haven't we? So let's change the topic up a bit for this Technical Debrief.
Yeah, we've had very much a CO2 and carbon capture 101, haven't we, where purity and quality is concerned. Now we're going to move into solar-powered green hydrogen, actually with one of our GWGI award winners.
Yes, fantastic to get Jan Rongé on the podcast here. So let's listen in to their solar-powered green hydrogen production.
Hey, this is Steve, and today I'm in Paris at the High Evolution Show, and I have the pleasure of talking to Jan Rongé of Solhyd.
Hello, nice to meet you, Stephen.
And tell me a bit, first of all, about what, did I say it right, Solhyd or Solid? How do you say your company name, and tell me what you do?
It's Solhyd. It's a Solid company, of course. What we have is technology that actually produces hydrogen directly from solar energy, which reduces the energy costs by a factor of 4. And that's important because energy costs are the main driver of green hydrogen production costs today.
So you're directly hooked into a solar panel, and somewhere close by you've got, is it what, like an electrolyzer or something?
Yeah, what we have is our technology are modules, which you could compare to an electrolyzer, but they are really modularized and simplified to as much as we could to make sure that you can plug them in directly to solar modules. So indeed, it's a commercial solar module directly driving our modules producing hydrogen, and you can supplement that with power from the grid or from batteries or any other power source in a very flexible way.
Okay, so I mean, a lot of the costs sometimes on hydrogen schemes are like power management, transformers and rectifiers, but it's, if I understood you right, you're coming directly off the DC power from the solar straight into your Solhyd electrolyzer, is that right?
Exactly, we keep things as simple as possible, so it's just directly plugged into a solar panel. Also, all the other peripherals, things like water purification, cooling, all those things, we avoid them in our system.
You avoid water cooling, and I mean, how is that on Earth possible? I mean, I need water to make hydrogen. How do you manage to eliminate that, Jan?
Exactly. Since we use the sun as the energy source, it actually matches quite nicely with the amount of water which is present in the air. And so we can capture enough water from the air to have our system produce hydrogen gas. So you don't need any liquid water, we just capture it from the atmosphere.
So if I can say this, you've got a direct air capture system, but it's not direct air capture for CO2, it's direct air capture for water, and then you're electrolyzing that water to make the hydrogen.
Correct, and that's also much easier because there's much more water in the air than CO2, luckily.
But hang on a minute, let's say I'm in the desert, very, very dry place. Have I got enough water to run your system?
Absolutely. Actually, in the desert, when temperature is higher, there's actually more water in the air than here. So what you want to do is capture the water at the right moments. And so what we are doing is we have a smart system integrated in our modules, which will make sure that we capture the water when humidity is highest. And even in places without any precipitation, you typically have enough humidity in the air to make it work.
So you're kind of using the sun during the day and maybe capturing the water overnight, but let's say buffering it between capturing it and using it.
Exactly. You don't need high humidity the whole time. The system can manage its water contents and buffer it.
Fantastic. And you said earlier on that you could also sort of grid connect it and have extra power coming in. I mean, what would be the reason for doing something like that, Jan?
Our system is designed to work directly with the sun from scratch since 10 years ago. So that means it's a very flexible system. It can ramp up and down. You can see it here. You can ramp up and down in seconds. It doesn't have any standby energy consumption, no crossover issues. So because it is designed to work with the sun, it can also very flexibly work with power from any other energy source, which means you can use it for grid services, from working with low energy prices in the market, and you can really switch it on whenever you want and switch it off whenever you want. So that means you can stay below 50% capacity factor if you want, and really profit from the optimal electricity prices.
Okay, and if I were to, just think about the economics there, you've mentioned profit and whatever, but capex of a system like this, if I'm going to make, let's say, 1 ton of hydrogen per day or whatever, versus classical photovoltaic, electricity, alkaline electrolyzer or whatever, is your capex much higher, much lower? Where do you sit for the same amount of hydrogen production?
Actually, the capex of the total installed system costs, the capex is comparable or even slightly lower than typical electrolysis projects for total installed capex. And on top of that, the OPEX is up to 4 times lower because you have much lower energy costs, because the energy is embedded in the capex and the solar is already embedded. So capex, I would say, is relatively similar, but because of the drastically reduced OPEX, OPEX, you have lower hydrogen production costs.
Okay, so I mean, if we talk in terms of LCOH levelized cost of hydrogen, you're saying that you've effectively got a lower LCOH than a classical photovoltaic through to electrolyzer system. But how much lower? What kind of numbers can we talk about?
Of course, it depends a lot on the local context. So people should contact us for details. But often we see that we can typically go at least 1 or 2 euros per kilogram lower than competitors.
Okay, so if I'm in Europe, let's say traditional 10 euros, you can come down to 8 or 9. If I'm in Oman or Western Australia, maybe I'm at 4 or 5 euros, you could bring that down to 2 or 3 or something. Is this the kind of thing we're talking about?
Yes, absolutely. So this is definitely possible, especially if you're at in the higher end range, something like 10 euros per kilogram, then we might go even lower than 8. Of course, reaching 2 euros per kilogram is something that is only possible in the very best conditions. So I have to, I don't want to over-promise things such as some others have done in the past, but definitely prices that are, let's say, competitive with blue and even gray hydrogen are within reach.
Fantastic. And I mean, can this work anywhere in the world? We talked about atmospheric humidity. I mean, if it's solar, it's not wind, it's specifically solar. I mean, I need sun. So can this work anywhere in the world, or do you have, let's say, sweet spot locations?
I would say it can work anywhere in the world because it also provides grid services, and it can benefit from very flexible grid connections. So even in cases like Northwestern Europe, we see very positive business cases for our technology. Of course, if you want to have the lowest LCOH possible, then typically you'll find that in places with better solar conditions.
And what kind of scale are you targeting this? I mean, I don't mean in terms of your scale up, but when this is like thoroughly commercial and really, really mature, do you see this being used for gigawatt projects or smaller projects or mid-scale projects? Where do you see this fitting with other hydrogen technologies?
The typical market we're looking at now is utility scale projects, utility solar hydrogen projects, which can be anywhere between, let's say, 5 and 100 megawatts. On the other hand, you can also do on-site hydrogen production. So 1 megawatt or even less than 1 megawatt is possible there. And further towards the medium term, we're also looking at potential gigasite projects in the Middle East and in Africa. So that's definitely also a possibility in the future.
And now let's talk about your scale-up roadmap. I mean, you've mentioned gigawatt and megawatt there. Where are you today and what comes next?
Yeah, that's good that you mentioned that. Because today we are building pilots in the 50 to 100 kilowatt scale. And soon moving to megawatt scales. So that is kind of where we are today. Before 2030, we are going into the dozens of megawatts. So that is definitely within reach. So those are the kinds of projects we are preparing right now. And after 2030, that's when we are really making the jump to larger, let's say, giga volumes.
Great conversation there, Tom. Good to hear from Jan Rongé. Thanks again to Steve, of course, for those technical questions and insights.
Yes, a fantastic interview then. Like I think we said it at the end of the last episode, it's great to be able to take this bite-sized step back and listen to the technical side of things that we don't often get to talk about.
Absolutely. There are many things written about hydrogen today, many things over the last few years indeed, but it's great to hear about a positive case study and something that's happening. We can see it happening at Solhyd, and as we said, that was an award-winning company and technology platform.
Yes, and we have one more technical debrief to come in this mini-series. Perhaps we'll bring it back again in a few weeks or a few months, but one more in this mini-series. So please do like, follow and share to listen to that.